just me. I can tell that you're just trying to be. Puede que no te haga falta nada, aparentemente nada. Highway de vacaciones, mi felicitaciones. Muy lindo el Instagram, lo que posteas. Pa' que yo vea cómo te va, pa' que yo vea. Puede que no te haga falta nada, aparentemente nada. Hawaii de vacaciones, mis felicitaciones. Muy lindo en Instagram lo que posteas. Pa' que yo vea cómo te va de bien, pero te haces mal. Porque el amor no se compra con nada. Miéntele a todos tus seguidores. Dile que los tiempos de ahora son mejores. No creo que cuando te llamen me ignores. Si después de mí ya no habrá más amores. Y yo fuimos uno, no se muera y uno antes del desayuno. Fumábamos el agua que te pasaba el humo. Y ahora en esta guerra no gana ninguno. Si me preguntas, nadie te me culpa. A veces los problemas a uno se le juntan. Déjame hablar, porfa, no me interrumpas. Si te hice algo malo, entonces discúlpame. La gente te lo va a creer. Actúas bien ese papel, baby, pero no eres feliz con él. Puede que no te haga falta nada, aparentemente nada. Highway de vacaciones, mi felicitaciones. Muy lindo el Instagram lo que posteas. Pa' que yo vea cómo te va, pa' que yo vea. Puede que no te haga falta nada, aparentemente nada. Hawaii de vacaciones, mis felicitas.
Hello and welcome to the Executive Leadership Council's Institute for Leadership Development and Research webinar. We are so glad to have all of you here with us today, and we're very appreciative to have Zalisa Clark lead us in our session, Mindfulness to Heal from Microaggressions. Before we hand it off to Z, we want to make sure that you have the best experience. So we want to make sure that you're aware your microphones and cameras are disabled for this session today. So please use the chat feature to the bottom right-hand side to ensure your communication throughout the entire program, because Z is definitely going to ask you to be engaged with her today. Additionally, if we move forward to the next slide, want to make sure that you're aware of our upcoming event taking place April 6th, the Power of Women at Work, phenomenal one-day program that will run from 11 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, includes speakers such as Ruha Benjamin, Janet Mock, and Asahi Pompey. Next, I want to inform you of our session taking place next month on March 18th, our Fellows on the Move. It's a brand new webinar series where we'll be highlighting you and all of your accomplishments and successes that you've achieved throughout your career. And our first one coming up March 18th will be that of Madupe Congleton. So with that, we want to now get started and welcome you once again to our session, Mindfulness to Heal from Microaggressions. And Z, we want to thank you so much for leading the session today. We can't wait to have you walk us through it. Z, the microphone is yours.
Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Z Clark, and I am so happy to be here with you today. Just wanted to share a little bit about myself. I have spent over 20 years in corporate America, from big Fortune 100 companies like Citigroup, American Express, to small startups in Silicon Valley. And during that time, I was always the only Black person. And, you know, I grew up in Washington, D.C. I grew up in D.C. during a time when it was the murder capital of America, okay? I remember my first drive-by shooting when I was 7. I remember my last drive-by shooting when I was 17. And yet I went to private school in the suburbs where code switching was that was like my whole life. Every day I had to code switch for survival. And that never changed as I got into my working world. So in all of these companies, I was the only, in tech, I was the only woman often the only Black person, and very, very often the only Black woman. Almost always the only Black woman. I remember the first day on a job, a boss said to me, you know, I just want you to know that I didn't hire you because you're Black. Okay. And on the last day, and I'm like, I went to Harvard twice. I went to Harvard College. I went to Harvard Business School. And I'm like, I never thought that you hired me because I was Black. On the last day of a job, I was quitting a job, and the CMO of a company said to me, so how does it feel to know that the only thing people are talking about is that a Black woman just quit? And I'm like, how about the millions of dollars that I brought this company? How about that? So all this to say that it can be hard to be Black at work, especially when you learn that your white colleague who has less experience is getting paid more than you. I remember in technology in Silicon Valley, not getting promoted as quickly as these young tech bros. I'm like, really? Really? And then, you know, people will just ask, like, what do Black people think? And I'm like, I am one person. I do not speak for the entire Black race. And then being Black at work, you show up with so much other stuff that sometimes is unrelated to work. Like I remember I walked in on a Monday morning and just really upset because I play violin, and I played violin in a violin vigil for Elijah McClain. Elijah McClain was a 23-year-old Black man who was murdered by the police unarmed. And he was also a violinist who played violin for the Kittens, just the sweetest man. And so a bunch of violinists went to the park in Aurora, Colorado to honor his life. And the police came with their riot gear and their rubber bullets and their tear gas. And I found myself sprinting away from the police holding my violin, you know, because violins are so dangerous. And so I showed up at work and I snapped at a white colleague. And I noticed myself, because of my mindfulness practice, I noticed that I was doing that because I was actually upset about something else. So with that in mind, then mindfulness has actually really helped me a ton in the workplace when I'm dealing with racial issues. And in fact, I have been meditating for the last 10 years. I've been doing yoga for even longer. And in these classes, I notice I'm the only Black person in the yoga class. I'm the only Black person in the meditation class. And you know who needs this practice the most? It's us, because of all of the problems that we have to face due to racism and microaggressions. So I did my own Black girl version of Eat, Pray, Love. I took myself to India. I was meditating. I learned breath work. I learned sound healing. I am a sound healer with Tibetan singing bowls. And I learned all these practices that have been used for thousands of years that I thought were just for white people. You know, you imagine that white girl that has no problems on the beach being like, and you're like, I have real problems. Well, I realized that these practices were really helpful to me when awful things would happen at work. And so I wanted to share some of these tools with you today. So with that in mind, if we could pull up the slides, and I want to share with you a little bit of the objectives and what we're going to do today. So what are we going to do today? Well, we have our objective slide up. We are going to learn mindfulness techniques, including breath work and meditation, and how we can use those for microaggressions in the workplace. In addition to that, we're going to build a toolkit so that you can use these tools to manage new challenges as they happen at work. So if we go to the next slide, we are going to go through a number of things today. We can get to that next slide. Great. We're going to talk about the definition of microaggressions, which I think somebody pointed out in the chat. It's not micro, it's not small. These are big. So we're going to talk about the big impact of microaggressions. We're going to have an introduction to mindfulness. We're going to learn some breath work techniques. So we're going to do them together here. And then we're going to go through a guided meditation. And then we're going to recap this toolkit, and you'll have something that you can take home with you to use when these happen to you. So let's go on to the definition of microaggressions. Oh, actually, sorry, workshop invitations. All right, here we go. So I invite you to be here with curiosity, okay? Curiosity. Be open to trying new things, because sometimes they look weird, y'all. They do. I mean, I learned them in India. I felt weird doing them, but they work. Active listening, okay? You can be multitasking. I invite you to not multitask so you can really learn these tools. And lastly, be present. Notice how the discussion and these practices are affecting you both emotionally and physically. So with that in mind, let us go on to the next slide, where we will talk about microaggressions. The definition of microaggressions, this is again from the dictionary, and they should be macro, y'all. They should be macro because it's serious. A comment or action that subtly and often unconsciously or unintentionally expresses a prejudiced attitude toward a member of a marginalized group. Okay, and you know, white people will be like, it was unconscious, it was unintentional, but it is real and it hurts. So let's go to the next slide, because I want to talk about some examples of microaggressions, okay? So, and I want you to think about which of these you have experienced. And in fact, as I walk through them, there's going to be a poll, and I invite you to answer which of these, it could be all of them, could be one of them, answer which has happened to you. So the first one, demeaning remarks, stereotypes or assumptions based on your race. And I'll just give you an example of something that happened to me in Boulder, Colorado. I had a barrette in my hair, and this white woman was like, oh my God, how does that stay in your hair? And this other girl at the table, who I did not know, she said to me, oh, it's because she got that black girl hair. I was like, my shoulders don't do that, okay? That is an example. I'm sure we all have many of them. The next one is acting surprised by the way you speak, your education, or your talents. I went to Harvard, and people are like, you went to Harvard? How did you get into Harvard? I'm like, excuse you. Excuse you. The next one, having to provide more evidence of your competence than others. I don't know if you've been in a meeting where you say something and they're like, well, do you have data to support that? But a white dude says something and they just take that as fact, as truth, really? The next one, ignoring your comment, and then applauding others when they say the same point. I'm like, I just said that. I just said that. And then nobody said anything. And then the white guy just uses different words to say the same thing, and he gets applauded. So I don't know if that's happened to you. The next one, calling you aggressive when others are applauded for being assertive. Let's talk about how many times I've been called angry black woman, okay? I'm not really angry. I mean, I'm angry when people do things that are offensive. And also when we just talk, right? We're just speaking. How is that aggressive, right? The next one, mistaking you for someone that looks nothing like you. All right, looks nothing like you. I love this quote. This quote is, I am not Lawrence Fishburne. Said by Samuel L. Jackson, because in an interview, a live interview, the anchor was like, what? Oh, let's talk about that Super Bowl commercial. He was like, what Super Bowl commercial? Okay. So I don't know if that's happened to you before. And even I was at dinner, at a Thanksgiving dinner, white people. And this guy said to me, oh my God, are you Samuel L. Jackson's daughter? I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? No, where did you get that from? I don't even look like her. Okay. The next one, implying or asking that you represent the entire race. This whole, well, you're black. What do black people think? Okay. We are not a monolith. We are not a monolith. Lastly, touching or making comments about your hair. I don't even need to say any more about that. So let's look at the results of the poll and see how many, who has experienced what here. Okay, so looking at the results of the poll, wow, it looks like more than half of everybody has experienced at all of these. The ones that are the highest are 78% ignoring your comment and applauding others when they make the same point. We also have the demeaning remarks. We acting surprised at the way you speak. I mean, all of them. And the reason I have this poll is because I want you to know that you are not alone. So let's go to the next slide. And we're going to talk about the impact of microaggressions. Okay. So really, at the end of the day, microaggressions, if we can go to that next slide, microaggressions cause chronic stress. Okay, African Americans have a higher probability of having high blood pressure. And now there are medical studies that show that discrimination is a direct cause of our high blood pressure and heart issues. It causes a weakened immune system. And we can't have weakened immune systems during COVID. Diabetes, we have higher rates of diabetes, anxiety and depression, accelerated aging. Did you know that there was an autopsy of Dr. Martin Luther King's body when he died at age 39, and he had the heart of a 60-year-old? 60-year-old. They are causing us to be older. All right. So I just want you to know that if we do not manage the stress that this causes, it actually is, it is a problem for our health. I think somebody said in the chat that racism is a public health issue. And the answer is yes. Okay. So let us go to the next slide, because I want us to talk about mindfulness. So for me, mindfulness is like, instead of taking a pill, right? Mindfulness has helped me in the moment and heal from it after that. So the definition of mindfulness, it is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So an example, okay, I am aware that I am experiencing anger right now, right? I'm aware, but non-judgmentally. I'm not going to get mad at myself for experiencing anger. I'm just noticing what is going on for me in the present moment. So I'm curious if we could launch that second poll. What percentage of folks here, what experience do you have with mindfulness meditation? Can we launch that poll? And I know for me, I used to think that mindfulness meditation was just for white people, or Indian people, but curious, what percentage of you have ever meditated before, or you tried it, or, I meditate daily, which is amazing. Very, very impressed with you. If you are somebody that meditates daily, because it is hard, especially to have the discipline. So I'm looking at the poll results come in, but basically, oh, wait, let me see. If you pin Z's video, you can see her near full screen. Okay, well, yes. Thank you for that reminder, Peter. So if we could share the results of the poll, just so we can keep it moving. But basically, it looks like 40% of you tried it once or twice. Okay, tried it once or twice, right? And because it's hard, and only 9% meditate daily. So, I want you to know that you are not the only person that has never meditated before, or that it's not part of your life, because this is new. And also to link it to how does this help me with racism? So we are about to find out. So let's go to the next slide. So I wanted to share with you a framework, a technique that is called RAIN, okay? Recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. And we are going to go through each of these, a short practice for each of them, just so you understand them and can really feel them. And then we're going to do a longer meditation at the end using RAIN to heal from microaggressions. So if we can stop sharing the slides, and we're going to start with the first one, recognize, okay? Recognize, that is to really recognize what you are feeling when these things happen. And one technique is to name the emotion. So we're going to do a quick exercise. I invite you to just get in a comfortable position. Okay. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a deep inhalation through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale it out. Now bring to mind a time when you experienced a microaggression at work. What happened? How did it make you feel? What emotions did you experience? Can you name that emotion? Maybe put that emotion in the chat right now. What emotion did you feel when this happened? Got a lot of anger, frustration, hurt, disappointment, lots of anger, embarrassed, frustrated, confusion, shock, disappointment, hurt. And so there is a power to naming because it allows us to separate ourselves. I am experiencing fear. I am experiencing being not seen. The A in RAIN is allow. Instead of pushing it away, it's so easy for us to just sweep it under the rug. But I gotta keep a smile on. I gotta keep it together. But you never address it. And if you do not address it, then these get stored in the body, causing stress and ultimately diseases. Okay, you know that Black women have a higher probability of dying from breast cancer. We have higher blood pressure, hypertension. Here is a phrase for you. The issues are in the tissues, okay? And that is real. That is real. All the stuff that happens, it gets stored in the body. And so the I in RAIN is for investigate. And the question is, where do you feel it in the body? Okay, so we are going to do another quick exercise. And I'm just going to tell you a story. And as I tell you the story, I want you to notice, where are you feeling it in the body? All right. So close your eyes. Take another deep breath. Exhale it out. Inhale. Exhale it out. Focus your attention on your body, on your forehead, on your eyebrows, on your cheeks, your jaw. Are you clenching? Just relax. Candace was one of the 10 nurses from her department selected to attend a conference in New Orleans. She and her colleagues went out to dinner, and of the 10 individuals, there were 9 Black women and 1 white woman. When they were seated, the white nurse looked around the table and jokingly said, "Wow, this makes me nostalgic of the antebellum South. It's like I'm a slave owner and you all are my slaves." The other nurses looked at each other and one of them changed the subject. Notice how learning about this incident, which happened in 2018, makes you feel. Bring your attention back to the body and notice what part of the body do you feel this in? Is it in your stomach? It is in your shoulders. We got a chest. We got jaw. I'm just reading in the chat. Brain, forehead, stick to my stomach. Throat and jaw getting punched. Yes, all of this, right? We feel it in the body. And so the next step in RAIN is to nurture, right? So you need to know what you need to nurture before you can nurture it, which is why, between the eyes, that is interesting, yes. So we got to nurture this. And so the question is, what do you need to heal? What do you need to hear right now? What do you need to feel? And we'll walk through the full RAIN meditation at the end, but I just want to share with you one technique that I have used, which is placing a hand on the heart with a tender touch and just taking deep breaths here. You know, when we're little, we fall, we scrape our knee, and what do we immediately do? Our hand immediately, naturally, without thinking, goes to our knee to soothe it. So just holding a hand, and you know, this is Reiki, actually, if you've heard about Reiki. This is a technique that's been used for thousands of years, just a hand to the heart. So with that in mind, you can take your hand down. I want to walk us through some breathing techniques that you can use in the moment, okay? So the first technique that I want to show you, and this one's for the in the moment, the other ones are going to be for afterwards to heal, but this one, in the moment, what do you do when somebody says that thing? Clutch your pearls. Ha ha, yes, right? So first, you need to notice that you're triggered, okay? Somebody says something, you need to be mindful enough to know, I just got triggered, all right? But then this is the technique. This is the simplest technique. It is belly breaths, okay? So I'm gonna move back a little bit so you can see, and we're gonna do it together. I invite you to do this with me. Take a hand, place it on your belly, okay? Place it on your belly. And take a deep inhalation and feel your belly expand like a balloon. And as you exhale, feel your belly come towards your spine. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly comes towards your spine. Keep on doing that. This stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system, that is fight or flight. That's like your lizard brain. That's like survival. Like I'm under attack right now. But the parasympathetic nervous system, that is about rest, restoration. Your cells regenerate. And so by doing these belly breaths, you can stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay? But here's the thing. You can't place a hand on the belly when you're in a conversation with somebody, right? Because they're going to think you're crazy, and we already have all these stereotypes to think about. So now we are going to practice doing this without a hand on your belly. So take your hand off your belly, and we're just going to do some practices. All right. So let's say that you are at work and someone says to you, wow, you're really articulate. You're not like the others. You notice yourself triggered and you take a belly breath. They can't notice that you're doing that, all right? Let's do another example. Let's say you're in a meeting and somebody says, you're Black. What do Black people think? Belly breath. Let's say someone says, are you sure your work is right? Has Mark seen this? As if you need validation. Belly breath. We're going to do one more. You're just not a cultural fit for this organization. What do? Belly breath. So that's what you can do in the moment when somebody says something, you do a belly breath. But now let's say that you're not in the moment, but something happened and you just need to relax, okay? And so I'm going to teach you 3 breathwork techniques that you can do depending on what's kind of going on for you. So the first one is for anxiety, okay? Like I used to go to work scared I was going to get fired every single day because the other Black person, woman, got fired for speaking up on Twitter. So I was like, every day I was like eggshells, like, okay. So this is what you can do for anxiety. It's called the 4-7-8 breath, okay? So it's inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And we're going to do it together. So sit up straight for anxiety and stress, but especially anxiety. Sit up straight, shoulders back and down. We're going to inhale and exhale through our nose. So inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One last time. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. So that's what you can do for anxiety. I know Karen in the chat said that makes you sleepy. Well, the point of it is to reduce stress. And if you're really, really stressed, it's just going to bring your heart rate down. So the next breathwork technique that I want to share with you is for anger, okay? Because some of you, as we in the chat, it was like, I'm pissed, I'm angry. Yes, right? When you are angry, what can you do to release the anger? Because again, as we discussed, holding on to that anger is not good for our health. And so I'm going to teach you a technique called breath of fire, all right? So if you've done a yoga class, you might be familiar with this technique, but this is what you do when you are angry and you need that anger to be dissipated, to get it out. So I'm going to demonstrate. Got to move back a little bit so you can see my belly because it's about the belly. I'm going to demonstrate. Don't do it yet. And then we're going to do it together. You're going to take a palm, place it on your belly, sitting up straight, and it's going to be a bunch of rapid exhalations through the nose using the abdominal muscles to force the air out. So I'm going to do it once, like that, right? I'm going to do it 5 times. All right. So if you have any questions, please place them in the chat. This also you shouldn't do with a full stomach. And so we're going to do it together. So take a hand on the belly. Okay. Sit up straight. Inhale through your nose. And then exhale through your nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Someone says blow your nose first. It's true. It's going to clear out some stuff. So we're going to do it again. And this time we're going to do it for 20 breaths. Okay. 20 breaths. All right. So, and I want you to think about something that you're angry about that somebody said or did at work. So you're going to do this with that in mind. All right. Hand on the belly. Inhale through your nose. And go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And nice work. Relax. All right. And it's not one breath, it's multiple breaths. You are exhaling with multiple breaths because the inhalation happens automatically. Basically, your body naturally is going to inhale. So it's really just focus on the exhale, and it's a bunch of rapid exhalations. So now we're going to do an alternate version of this, okay? And as you do this, you can do it up to like 60 times, right? But I'd say start slow. And also sometimes you can get lightheaded, and that's totally normal because you're moving around stuff that's inside of you. So this is a variation on that, okay? And this is something when you just really need to get it out. So really think about what is that thing that you're angry about right now that you need to just get out, okay? So first, you need to learn the hand positions. Thumbs inside a fist, okay? That's step one. Step two is you're gonna raise your arms up straight. And step three is on the exhalation, you're gonna bring your arms down so that your elbows squeeze the bottom of your ribs, like that. So I did the same exhalation, it's the same thing. Exhale through the nose, and you're just bringing your arms down. So we'll do it rapidly. And again, you don't need to worry about the inhalation because your body automatically will do that. So I'm going to do it just a couple times before we do it fully, but now you can do it with me to just try it. So you take your thumb, place it in your fist, make a fist, arms up, inhale, and then exhale. And then, does that make sense? Any questions? Okay. So now we're going to do that, and we're going to do that 20 times. And I want you to really think about that thing that you need to release, okay? Hand positions, thumb in the fist, okay? And we are raising our arms up. This is a variation on breath of fire. Inhale through your nose. Oh, hold on, let me see if there's the question here. Where should we be doing these? You do these at home when you get home from work and you're pissed off about what just happened. Okay, take a thumb, fist, arms up. Inhale through your nose. Thinking about that thing and go. Harder, harder. How much do you need to remove this anger? How mad are you? And how much do you need to get rid of it? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, you can see us a little bit. You maybe shake it out a little bit. Shake it out because you just moved a bunch of stuff. But that is what you do for anger. And also, you know, maybe you need tissues because it does get a lot of stuff out. All right. So the last breathwork technique that we're going to do, this one is for balance, and it's alternate nostril breathing. So I am going to get a little closer so that you can see how to do this, but this is for balance, okay? So let's say, you know, you have those days when you're just discombobulated and you're like running into doors and you're dropping stuff and you're like all over the place, you know? On those days, you need to do this technique, okay? It is alternate nostril breathing. And you can do this with me as I do it. I'm going to demonstrate and we'll do it together, but you know, you could practice. And this one lowers the heart rate and it's really good for stress. And it's also really good for your respiratory health. So even in this time of COVID, right, we need our respiratory health to be in order. Hand positions. You're going to need your thumb and you're going to need your ring finger. Okay. And this is, we're going to close one nostril, breathe through it and close it. And so I'm going to explain, I'm going to walk you through it. Okay. I take my thumb and I'm closing my right nostril. I inhale through my left, take my ring finger, close my left, open my right, exhale through my right. Inhale through my right, close my right, open my left, exhale through my left. Notice if your shoulders come down as you exhale. Inhale through your left, close your left, open your right, exhale through your right. Inhale through your right, close your right, exhale through your left. One more time, inhale through your left, close your left, open up your right, exhale through your right. Inhale through your right, close your right, exhale through your left. All right, so you get the point, and you can do as many repetitions of that as you want, but when you're having a day when you just need some balance, it's actually really good to balance your left and right brain as well. So with that in mind, then those are the breathwork techniques. We're going to review them at the end, but now we're going to move into a guided rain meditation. So I invite you to think about an incident at work where you had a microaggression or somebody did something or said something to you that really was upsetting. All right. So we're going to go into a guided meditation. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position, back straight. Imagine that a string is connected to the top of your head, and it is gently pulling upwards to the sky so that you can feel your spine lengthen. close your eyes. And as you inhale, feel the air rise and your spine lengthen. Sitting up tall, expanding. And as you exhale, feeling the air come down your spine, down to your tailbone, a feeling of being grounded, connected to the earth. Exhale, grounding. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, grounding. Focus your attention on your shoulders. And inhale your shoulders up to your ears. And as you exhale, bring them back and down. Inhale, shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, bring them back and down. Last one, inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, back and down. And now relax your shoulders and focus your attention on your forehead. Notice if you're holding any tension there. Focus your attention on your eyes, your left eye, your right eye. Focus your attention on your nose, the bridge of your nose, the tip, your left nostril, your right nostril. Focus your attention on your jaw. Are you clenching? Just relax. Focus your attention on your heart. Focus your attention on your belly. Really feel your belly expand on the inhale and come towards your spine on the exhale. Being here right now. Now bring to mind a time when someone said or did something to you because of your race or gender at work. It could be something big and in your face, or it could be something super subtle. It could be what they didn't do or didn't say, but it was because of your identity. Something that happened that is still lingering with you. What's coming up? Bring yourself to that specific situation that was triggering. What happened? Visualize the setting, like a frame in a movie. What is happening? Who is there? Where are you? What is said? And now the R in RAIN is for recognize. What are you feeling? Name it. Anger, frustration, anxiety. What are you most aware of? The A in RAIN is for allow. Let it be here right now. Pause and make space for what's here. This is a willingness to acknowledge that this is the life of the moment. It doesn't mean that you like it. It means I'm going to be with you. It's not saying it's okay. It's saying this belongs. Allow the feeling to be here. The I in RAIN is for investigate. What part of your body most wants attention? Be a detective. Where do you feel this in the body? Is it in your throat, in your belly, in your chest? And what does it feel like? Is it sharp? Is it throbbing? Is it aching? Is it empty? Feel into that place. What is the felt sense? Clenching, rawness. And now assume the facial expression of what you're feeling. Don't be inhibited. Make the face. And now let your body reflect it. Maybe your shoulders come up, or maybe you hunch over. Maybe your fists clench. What are you noticing? Where do you feel most vulnerable in the body? And if that vulnerable place could communicate, what would it want you to know? Maybe it's words. Maybe it's a feeling, an image. Maybe it's to know something. Ask this place, what do you need? The N in nurture, the N in RAIN is for nurture. Asking this vulnerable place, how do you want me to be with you? What do you need? What do you need to hear right now? Is it a message? Do you need to trust something? To feel something? To know something? Think about responding to this need from the most loving part of you. Take a few deep breaths. And now let your body adjust to be your highest self, your most evolved self, your future self of immense wisdom. Be that person right now. And still listening to the place of vulnerability, calling on your wisdom. Sense that you can offer what's needed. sense that part of your body, and maybe bring a hand to that part of the body that is most vulnerable. Maybe it's a hand on the heart, maybe on the belly, and have a tender touch. Vary the touch until it feels tender. And let the energy start flowing into that place. Be the holder and the held with compassion. What words or message does this part most need to hear? And can you offer it? Maybe it's, you're gonna be okay. Maybe it's, black is beautiful and I am black and proud. Maybe it's, you're strong enough to handle anything that comes your way. Maybe it's, I care about you. I love you. Maybe it's easier to receive this from another source, a higher source, a family member, a teacher, a healer, someone who's no longer with us. Take a moment to receive what's needed. After the rain, we rest in the presence of what's here. Relax and let it fill you. What's it like to be here right now? How do you feel now versus when you started? Now slowly bring your awareness back into the room. And know that this feeling is within you at all times, regardless of what challenges come your way. You can come back to this place whenever you need to. Exhale all of your air out. Take a deep, deep inhalation. Exhale it all out. And slowly flutter your eyes open and welcome back. I'm gonna share some the additional slides that we had. I got a question in the chat from someone who said, well, I've had repeated traumas and sometimes it's difficult to feel and immediately connect with ourselves. Any suggestions for breaking through that disconnectedness? And I will tell you that, yeah, sometimes it is really hard because we just naturally build up so many walls. And so I would say, I don't know if you guys have heard of somatic healing or somatic therapy, but it's all about just the body. So we're not even going into like the emotions quite yet. It's just feeling into the body. And so there are somatic therapists out there that you could Google, and also guided meditations there. But if our production team can pull up those slides, that would be really amazing. The toolkit slide. Because I want you all to know that you are going to leave here with the ability to reference back these things that we learned. So if the production folks could pull up those slides, where we can just do a recap of what we learned today. So it's the slide that's the toolkit. It's a couple slides after that one. Yes, this one right here. The toolkit slide, exactly. So I just wanted to spend the last couple minutes reviewing what we did. And also, if the production team could put the link in the chat, because I have a toolkit, one pager for you to reference next time a microaggression happens to you. So what did we do today? We named the emotion. I cannot explain to you how powerful it is to just name it, because that's an acknowledgement, okay? And you can't solve a problem if you haven't acknowledged it. All right. RAIN meditation. That's what we just did. The R is for recognize, A is for allow, I is for investigate, N is for nurture. We did belly breaths in the moment. We did 4, 7, 8 breaths. Okay, that was inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And again, this link should be in the chat sometime soon of the downloadable one pager where you have directions for all of this. Then breath of fire to release anger. And do you remember that we did it just with our belly, right? But then we got our fist and we went, right? So, okay, it looks like the toolkit is in the chat, so you can download that. And then we did alternate nostril breathing for grounding and for balance. And so I want to go to the next slide just in the last minute or two that we have together to just share with you that I teach this for companies and their employee resource groups and their Black and Brown employees, all right? And so, you know, if you work at a company where you feel that your colleagues could benefit from this because of perhaps some toxic stuff that's happening, then this workshop could be for them. And in fact, I have a 4-part workshop series. The first is what we just experienced, mindfulness to heal from microaggressions at work. The second is countering imposter syndrome with courage, because, you know, if you have people constantly questioning you, right, of course we're going to doubt ourselves, right? Of course we're going to be anxious. And so how do we deal with the imposter syndrome? We got another, yes, question about the toolkit link. So there we go. The third one is bringing my whole self to work. I am so tired of these authentic leadership classes where a white person tells me that I should be myself when I have to code switch just to survive. And so this is mindfulness around how can we bring our whole selves to work, and how do we manage the reasons that we feel like we can't? And the last one is rejuvenation from Black fatigue. Y'all know about Black fatigue, right? Black fatigue. So the toolkit's in the chat right here for the person that just asked, so you can scroll up this microaggressions toolkit. So if you are interested, here is my email address. If you have questions, there were a couple questions that came in through private. If I couldn't address them, feel free to email me, z@reclaimingflow.com. You have my LinkedIn there. Reclaimingflow.com is my offering of these workshops, particularly for Black and Brown folks. What else can I tell you? Yeah, I'm a sound healer with Tibetan singing bowls. You can reach out to me to do some of that as well. I live in Denver, but I do virtual sessions. Also, if you're in Colorado, I do one-on-one sessions with the bowls on the body. It's pretty crazy and amazing. So with that in mind, I am all about keeping time. I just want to flash a couple of those other ELC, Executive Leadership Council events that are coming up. I don't know if Chris is on and wants to share those.
Yes, he is, Z. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. That was phenomenal. And I'm sure we all found great value in those techniques and cannot wait to try to implement them as we continue navigating through our day-to-day. Just wanted to thank you again, Z, and make sure that everyone was fully aware. Next month, we have our Fellows on the Move with Madupe, and we also have our upcoming program, April 6th, The Power of Women at Work, starting at 11 a.m. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you back next month.
Hey, thanks, Z. Great job.
I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. Now that we have come to be a brand new life, I can see. Never thought you'd be a special part of me. No, baby. The reasons are because of you. I can go on and make it through. I can't even take my mind off loving you. And I wanna say I never knew there was a love like this before. A love like this before, no. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. I know you can't see all the things you mean to me. I'm so amazed that you are mine. Yeah, 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 yeah. If we can work together, maybe this can last forever. This is something that I wanna hold on to. So baby, try to understand. I'd be crazy, cause you compliment my style. And I like the way you walk and the way you walk, the way you talk. You don't know just what you do to me. You see, I never knew there was a love like this before. A love like this before, no. Never had someone to show me a love. I never had a love like this before. I never knew there was a love like this before. Never knew. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. Understand, I'd be crazy if you leave. 'Cause you compliment my style. And I like the way you walk and the sexy things you talk. You don't know just what you do to me. You see, I'm never knew like this before. Like this before. I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. I never knew there was a love like this before.
All right, stop sharing the slide.